All right, guys, what's going on? Welcome in. So, as we all know, the New York Jets have parted ways with offensive coordinator Mike LaFleur. That news broke a couple hours ago. And funny enough, I just filmed a video on my personal top 5 OC candidates for the New York Jets. 5 guys that I think the Jets should definitely do their due diligence with. I'm looking at it right now, actually, and it's going to take 2 hours to render. So I'm not 100% sure if that's going to be up tonight. If it's not up tonight, it'll definitely be up tomorrow morning. But anyway, I check Twitter after I do all the editing and all that kind of stuff, and the candidate that every Jet beat reporter is talking about is Darrell Bevell. It's Darrell Bevell, the current quarterbacks coach for the Miami Dolphins. Now, first instant reaction, I gotta be honest, that was not the name that I was expecting, because Robert Saleh, to me, sounded like he was on the fence about letting Mike LaFleur go. It wasn't just like, yeah, he's gone, we're firing him immediately, kind of like what the Texans did to Lovie Smith. I believe they fired him on Sunday, like directly after the game. It wasn't like that. Here we are just a couple days before playoff weekend, and Mike LaFleur, like the Titans made their move. Washington has made their move. So it took the Jets a little bit to kind of get to this point. Apparently, Mike LaFleur had interest elsewhere from multiple destinations. So the Jets just decided to part ways with him and let him go, capitalize on one of those opportunities. But I got to be honest, Darrell Bevell, I feel like this is just me, instant reaction here. It does kind of feel not necessarily like a panic move, like, oh my God, we have to make a decision right now. But it's like, who is somebody that we can quickly check the boxes with, that we can interview like ASAP, that might not have a lot of interest elsewhere. Look, what Darrell Bevell's doing right now with the Miami Dolphins is great. You talk to any Dolphins fan, the proof is in the pudding, right? We can look at what Tua has done this season. He's taken a major step forward. Granted, Mike McDaniel is a major reason why. Also, play caller. So we, of course, have to credit Mike McDaniel. But Bevell's the QB coach, and we've seen what Tua has done. Teddy Bridgewater is Teddy Bridgewater, a veteran option that looks solid. But Skylar Thompson, for a 7th-round rookie, much like Brock Purdy, he looks polished for a 7th-round rookie. We're sitting here talked about problems with Zach Wilson. This is year 2 for Zach Wilson in the same system with weapons, and he, where's the growth been? There hasn't really been any. But Skylar Thompson comes in and is super polished, and keep in mind, this is not a guy who's practicing weeks on end with the ones. He's like limited reps here, and he looks formidable, to say the least. He might actually get the nod this Sunday against the Bills. We'll see how he does, but to me, Bevell's an interesting choice because it's kind of like a safe move. It's definitely not a swing for the fences type of move. It's not, let's blow everybody out of the water and go hire a top 5 OC, a top 10 OC, a top 15 OC. We look at Bevell throughout the years. Last year, he was working with Urban Meyer. He was the Jaguars offensive coordinator, and then, of course, stepped in as the interim head coach down the stretch. But he worked with Trevor Lawrence, and it is what it is. We all know the Jacksonville Jaguars finished as the worst team in football. And Lawrence's crazy development, his big step in the right direction came this year under Doug Peterson. Before the Jacksonville Jaguars, he was with the Detroit Lions for quite some time, working with Matthew Stafford in numerous roles. Before that, he was the OC of the Seattle Seahawks, 2011 through 2017, and that's where you have that Robert Saleh connection. So I get it from an experience standpoint, from a veteran coaching standpoint, because at the end of the day, he has been coaching football since 1996. So when you look at both of those areas, Bevell checks the boxes. Has he worked with a lot of quarterbacks? Yes. Has he worked with young quarterbacks? Yes. Again, last year with Lawrence, Russell Wilson before that, he has had success. But it doesn't strike me as a move to where it's like, we have to fire Mike LaFleur to get Darrell Bevell in the building. I think if Saleh really, really wanted him, like from the jump, like from like this past, like since like if we're talking about this past off season, he was available to bring on. We didn't necessarily have to fire Mike LaFleur a year later. Like we could have tried to work something out because Bevell, again, OC in Jacksonville, interim head coach in Jacksonville, they cleaned house. He ends up with the Miami Dolphins in a similar scheme with Mike McDaniel. The Jets could have added him to the staff then. So it's interesting now we're sitting here a year later and Mike LaFleur is gone. And now he, it seems, is the top choice. At least he's the guy that everybody, all the beat reporters are referencing. Hey, this is the guy to keep an eye on. This is the guy that, you know, is being linked heavily to the New York Jets. I mean, we're hearing that from Zach Rosenblatt. We're hearing that from Connor Hughes. We're hearing that from Rich Cimini. So it's interesting. And again, you know, I am not somebody that is going to dismiss someone, especially an NFL coach, before we've seen him with that given roster. You know, I at least want to see a year before I make any sort of crazy decision on whether it's a smart move, because we've seen it all the time, right? Coaches might stumble a little bit early on and then bounce back maybe with better personnel, more talent, personnel that fits their system a little bit better. So that could very well be the case. And again, if Saleh is looking for the 3 bullet points, who's worked with talented quarterbacks, who's coached for a long time, who's coached and had success in multiple, sorry, I got the low battery notification here, who's worked and coached in a lot of different places. Bevell checks all 3 boxes, and he's coming off a pretty good coaching season with the Dolphins. But again, some could argue it's a lateral move. Some could argue how much upside are you going to get with Bevell? Will the quarterback development, specifically with Zach Wilson or maybe another young quarterback on the roster, be there long term? I don't know. Those are all questions that we're assuming he gets the job here. And by this quick spoiler, Darrell Bevell's not on that list that I'm going to post tomorrow. But we'll see how it plays out. We'll see how it plays out. I'm kind of mixed with it because I do admittedly like Bevell's scheme. I do. And there are pros. But again, at the same time, there's just a couple of, like, I don't envision Bevell being a top, like, elite offensive coordinator, an elite play caller immediately, right? Maybe that year off in Miami changed some things. We'll see how it all plays out. Kind of getting ahead of myself here. He's not even on the team yet. So anyway, let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. I'm going to be posting that video tomorrow morning at some point. Yeah, I'm still looking at like an hour and 50 something minutes here. So let me know your thoughts. Darrell Bevell, Jets OC, how do you like it? Do you like it? Yes, no, let me know. And as always, go Jets.